My tale opens on a misunderstanding. The night before the stranger arrived, I had seen a film on television about a coup d'etat in an African state with some diamonds that were stolen. There was also a massacre and some kind of foul play. The film was interrupted by a power cut on the island, but it carried on rolling through my brain all night long. So it was only natural that I should assume the stranger's arrival was to be a logical continuation of the events in the previous night's film. I still remember his coming, one rainy Saturday.
Use this until it runs out. Let me know when you need more, all right?
Come on, asshole.
He registered at the desk and had a great trunk brought in, which he carried up to his room, room 13. I ought to say that most of the rooms in the Hotel Ballantrae were called Room 13, just to put off the few customers that actually made it to our door, which should give you an idea of my father's weird sense of humor.
Why, Mr. Continue, why?
Jim Hawkins. Go ahead, say it. Jim Hawkins.
All right, Coutinho. Jim Hawkins. Is that better, Coutinho?
Come here. I want you to meet my son.
Hello, son. What's your cat's name?
Good morning.
Good morning. What time is it?
God knows. Late, I imagine. What time is it, God damn it?
Forget it, Portuguese, huh?
Aren't you in bed yet? Sleeping all over the place, all over the house.
Like father, like son.
You always were a meatball man. You never dreamt.
I dreamt of a home, a wife, a child, money. How cruel a trick when one wants so many things at the same time, and only one is available at that time. The rest pile up like so many empty barrels.
What in hell are you going on about?
Something, nothing, what matter?
Who's this all this money?
It's ours, I guess.
What do you mean? Jonathan, go up to your room. You've been drinking again, huh? I can't believe it.
There you are.
My mother was a woman who barely managed to conceal her permanent fear behind a smile that was never off her face, at least until my father died. It was just before the full moon, with all the usual consequences like family squabbles and my ineradicable habit of sleeping half the day. This, I usually did on a couch in the conservatory, where I found out the day after he came that my father had met the stranger before. That very evening, I decided to undertake a detailed study of the stranger's habits. But I have forgotten to mention that he asked us to call him Captain. The captain's room was directly beneath the eye of God, so that I was to become a highly privileged witness to all our guests' innermost secrets. I must have spent hours up there watching the captain. When I woke, the house was in darkness. My father had just switched off the electricity generator. I had no alternative but to spend the whole night glued to the eye of God, which wasn't going to tell me anything.
So now you recognize me, huh? It's interesting.
You've lost a lot of weight.
That's what happens when you spend half your life at sea. Your husband's changed, too.
Oh, his...
He's what? What do you mean?
You know what I mean.
The next day, we got a whole load of tourists. My father had locked himself in his study. On such occasions, he used to stay in there drinking for 2 or 3 days without respite, so that my mother and I had to take over the running of the Hotel Ballantrae.
Are you happy, Mom? I mean, really happy.
Of course I'm happy, Jonathan, as you can see.
I guess the business is doing well.
Hey! Now, what's wrong with you today, my little devil, huh?
I was just wondering. That's okay, isn't it?
Hey, what? What's going on? What's the matter with Mama's little devil?
Do you mind me following you around?
Of course I mind, Jonathan. Give me a break. Go and help in the kitchen, okay?
I can't. I should be in school.
Come on. Go and do it. Just do it for Mommy, okay?
What was that about school?
Come in here.
Can I help you, sir?
No, Sonny. Thanks. I hear words, and words provoke memory. Memory hurts, and yet we go on talking.
Are you really blind?
Do I look it?
Why shouldn't a blind man look blind?
No, but it's fine with me. Fine that. The problem is it's spreading a lot. Do you get my meaning?
Up to a point. Right now, I have to go.
Not yet, not yet. We must have a little chat, you and I.
Let me go before I'll scream!
That's a shame. You're short on support, Sonny.
There's a silence around you, sir. You do hear that, don't you, sir? Or...
Sure I do. It's the kind of thing one notices.
It seems to have something to do with you.
Ah, you don't say.
No, I mean it, sir.
Jonathan, come here.
You see, they're calling me.
Ah, the old trick. You want a blind man to say, I see.
Jonathan, are you coming?
This gentleman wants to talk to me.
Are you there? You're lucky to have such a delightful son. a lady there! No point in keeping quiet. I know your voice too well. It's an unforgettable voice, isn't it? I'd recognize it over continents, over wars.
Jonathan, your father wants to talk to you.
Where? Where? I bet your father isn't alone.
Do you know him?
No, I don't know anyone here, Sonny. The human heart is an unknown quantity, desperately in love with deception. Since you are with us, madam, although if I may put it so wordless, I would be very grateful if you would give this little present to your husband, or rather his friend, our friend, the captain. He's still here, isn't he? Or I'm much mistaken.
I'm afraid I don't quite see what you mean, sir.
She doesn't see. Of course not. I can't see anything either, madam.
2 hours later, the thing was in full swing. Our house was upside down. The blind man had vanished, and the last that had been seen of him was a wild dance near the cliffs. His suit had just been found. Before I had got used to this first disappearing trick, a new character burst into my life. A young man. I was sure I hadn't seen him come in with the tourists. He looked like he knew me. He knew all about me. That evening, my father didn't turn off the electricity generator, and I was getting ready to play all night. I knew that the captain was watching me through his own eye of God. My father must have told him that every room in the hotel had an eye of God. But he wasn't used to using it. All he could do was come on stage.
But you're not even sleepy, are you, right?
Right.
That's the thing about kids. They can sleep everywhere. Here, there, anywhere. Take a nap under a tree or doze off behind an armchair. Even fall asleep at the dinner table. Come here. Take a look. Come over here. What do you think's going on out there, huh?
I have no idea.
What do you think our blind man's got, huh?
You're a blind man.
What do you mean?
He's looking for you, isn't he? He even wanted to give you a little present.
Is that so? Well, that's very sweet of him. Now, where is this present?
Vanished.
This present. A nice present?
Not really. An eye.
An eye? I see.
Nothing new.
You really like this business, don't you? And you really love it.
Suppose I do.
Well, it's not nice for a kid your age.
What's nice at my age then?
You know what's nice for a kid your age?
Hmm.
A kid your age should be full of dreams. You should be living in a fairy tale world. Full of pretty things, good things. When I was your age, I used to dream all the time of far-off places and fabulous creatures. Of course, in those days, I slept a lot. Naturally. Because if you don't sleep, you don't dream. You have to let sleep sweep over you, my friend.
I'm not sleepy.
It's very late. Let's go to sleep.
That's a very bad thing to give children.
Yes, it is.
Very.
You and I get along very well.
The full moon guaranteed nothing would be spared my dreams that night. Nightmares canceled each other out. Once again, the voyeuristic sleepwalker in me was aroused. I had to go out onto the terrace, since there were screams down below. Somehow, I was sure I was sleepwalking. That fight down there couldn't be, mustn't be real.
Why are you doing that? Come on. Go back to sleep. Go to your room right away. Come on.
I decided to drop everything and go to my own quarters. Still further down, near the rocks, I had my own territory in some caves known, with very little accuracy, as the Jolly Fellows. I was well settled in down there. Sometimes I stayed for weeks without surfacing. What the devil was that little blind chap doing in my cave, stinking of mothballs? I wasn't fooled by his sense of dress. It was a kind of blasphemy. He was displaying his hatred, his contempt for my father, delighting in showing himself off in my father's evening clothes. He was wearing a dinner jacket my father hadn't dared wear since his wedding out there in Africa. The blind man had vanished without trace, except for this glass eye. A glass eye capable of terrorizing the captain, reducing my mother to silence, and making my father laugh hysterically, in his best old lady manner, I was in for some fun, that was for sure. It was a Tuesday, and the hotel was closed. So, I was just about to climb into my tower when the typewriter made me realize the adventure had not yet run its course.
What are you doing?
What do you mean?
Why this candle?
This candle? Well, when I don't have ideas, I burn my hand.
I get it. You're making fun of me.
No, my son, I don't like joking.
Do you write stories?
There aren't any more.
What then?
I write down what happens to others. You and your folks. You've got people staying with you. Some friends.
I don't have any friends.
Oh, we always say that. I say that sometimes, too. But this famous captain everybody is talking about, he's still with you, isn't he?
So this is all about the captain. I knew it.
Good line.
Come over here, son. It's time we had a word, because I really do need you. You must help me. You're the only one. So you've got to help me.
How will I do that?
Look, son, it would be a lot easier if I could spell the whole thing out to you. But it's out of the question. Come here.
I'm quite close to you now.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Come here.
I have not forgotten the blind man's expression of surprise at my reaction. You have no right to do that, he said. And then, before disappearing, he dropped this enigmatic phrase: "Don't hit a blind man if you want to find treasure. Let a blind man hit you." That night, I climbed up into the tower earlier than usual. The captain had locked himself in his room since the beginning of the day, drinking. Yes, it was she. They were giggling like old friends, plotting something. I realized I ought to tell my father what I'd just heard. But sometimes people guess what you're about to do. It was at such times that I realized I was no more than a child.
Fine. I can understand that. What about my husband?
We'll take care of that little matter when the time comes. You know, we'll sort that out.
Don't be so naive, Bill. You don't know what he's like. You don't know what he's like.
Dead man don't bite, baby.
Hey, wait a minute. No. I don't want to have anything to do with that kind of dirty business. Oh, no.
What's the matter with you? Why don't you knock, huh?
Get dressed and we'll see.
He doesn't know how to be tough anymore, even if he tries.
Yeah, that's what I want to find out.
Stop it!
Once more, I was alone in the house. Alone, waiting for strangers to come. At first, I thought it was my father and mother coming home with the captain the back way just to scare me. It was to be a few months before I understood that this, my first interpretation of the story I was living through, was correct.
Why the window? It's good for you. But the kitchen door was open. No comment. Buy me a new pair of trousers. Melt them.
The search through the house lasted for hours. I had trouble keeping awake. I told myself I mustn't fall asleep. I mustn't be discovered. But sometimes, resisting sleep is easier than resisting an unadulterated nightmare.
You shouldn't have done that. Damn it! Let's go! Let's go! Come on! Go!
The next day, the captain came in first, early. He wanted to be forgiven. He had prepared a surprise. My loathing for parrots dates from this period.
This thing weighs a ton. How many of these you got?
We have 12.
What?
12. Okay, the greens are smokers, and the gray ones are non-smokers.
There's enough to know.
That night, the nightmare wouldn't end.
Now what?
Someone is knocking at the door.
I'm gone. I'm out.
Listen, kid, I want you to do me a favor. I'll give you 3,000 escudos every 2 days if you tell me if anyone asks about me, okay?
Too late.
Good evening, everyone. The Eagle sends you all the best.
Smells like good paella. I love paella. First, there's a little matter we've got to settle.
Jonathan, go to your room.
What about you, Crab? Still think you're Robert Redford?
Nice of you to say so.
Ah, Lily's there. Hi there, Lily. I hope she's looking as pretty as ever. No scars, no sign of trouble. Lily goes through life untouched, untouchable, like those immaculate conceptions they have out there.
I'll tell you something. Dudu has never forgotten you. He's still in love with you.
What are you this time? Good guys? Bad guys? Heavies or heroes?
I've got something for you. Here.
Just like little kids, 12-year-olds.
I bet he's as white as a sheet.
Go right ahead. There's nothing to worry about.
Thanks, Crab.
If they'd done that to me when I was a kid, I wouldn't have turned out like you lot. You don't know how lucky you are, my boy. You won't be like your father.
Come on, now that's enough. It's enough!
It's over. You didn't make him cry. And you owe me a new jacket. Look.
What a bunch of pricks. I mean, you're unbelievable.
I know what you feel. I know. And I think it's so terrible. But you mustn't let it get you down. They know what they're doing. They really do. It's a job, you know. I'm sure they can't have hurt you that bad. Huh? Oh, my God. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. You'll see. In 1 week, you won't even remember what happened. I'm sure. See what I mean? Huh? They're like small children. They think life is just a game. Your father is much better. They used to work together a long time ago. With a law, of course. But you know, laws change all the time. You can do something perfect, legal one day, and find out you're a criminal the next. Oh, baby. Let's not make a big deal out of it, okay? You must forgive your father. He doesn't know right from wrong. All this business has been too much for him. He's just, you know... Oh. I suddenly can't remember why I was telling you all this. But if you take the pills, you'll see you'll feel much better. Give me a kiss. Give Mommy a Lisa.
They said they were friends of my father.
But maybe your father could be a thug, too.
I doubt it.
All the more reason.
And you?
Me? I'm not a thug. I am a writer.
But there's nothing there. You haven't written anything down.
Yeah. I know. It's a shame, isn't it?
What are you waiting for?
I am waiting. I am waiting for you. Now I can see the unreal business of the blind man's funeral all over again, stripped at last of the question marks over the manner of death which haunted me for years. I can see it now in all its ordinariness, and I can form an impression of the strange cruelty of those old days. Finally, I think I can now face that last sight of my father alive. Just makes me laugh now. From now on, I know that I'll laugh whenever my imagination conjures up the whole business before my eyes. Thank God. It was bound to happen. I was fed up.
You said he was asleep.
I was getting out. I had to get out. At least, I was sure that I had shut the last door. The very last door.
Jonathan! Where are you?
Don't panic. We can't do that now.
What the hell is the matter with you? Oh, God. Everyone's crazy.
I gave him some pills.
I can't stand
I gave him some pills.
But yes, I knew that it was only a beginning. Overcoming one's childhood is not all that simple when everyone claims to be its hallowed guardian.
Not a good idea. It'll bring you bad luck. Come on over here. I will fix you up in no time.
Leave me alone.
Will you please come over here? I can't let you go like that.
Like what?
Those socks. They'll bring you bad luck.
What's wrong with my socks?
They are nice socks, but...
I know. I did it on purpose. Does it bother you?
I am a shoemaker. And feet mean a lot to me. I always go for the feet. When I want to find out more about someone. Now, come on over here. And I will get you straightened out.
Leave me alone, will you?
It figures. It is those socks. Come on. Hey. See, as you can see, I am not annoyed. Oh. Like I tell you, I do not get annoyed. I am used to this.
Congratulations.
You are laughing. I love to see children laughing. It is great. It is wonderful. All the shoes of the world should be tap dancing. Because of the miraculous laugh of a boy who just lost his father.
What do you know about it?
What do I know about it? I know nothing about it. Nothing at all, kid. I just say the word father like I would say the word mother or brother or sister. The word occurs to me when I talk to people who are depressed because I know about people that can get depressed.
You remind me of someone.
Well, maybe you were luckier with that other person. Maybe you throw the stones and you hit the jackpot.
Who are you?
All right, come on. Come on, I want to change your socks. Let's get going.
Why should I follow you?
Because you need someone to talk to. I would do the same if I were you.
What's your name?
Silver.
Silver? Like the minister?
Yes.
And like the port?
And like the shoes.
Where are you going?
Wherever you want.
Nowhere.
Oh, all right. That's my place.
That's pretty cheap.
Oh, wait. I was just joking. Comes with making shoes.
I could have refused to carry on with this game. I could, for instance, have taken the little path round the back, and so have avoided the man in the old Mercedes. But the fact of the matter is that I didn't want to end it all. I wanted to take things to their bitter end. I recognized a Lebanese restaurant called Hispaniola. My father often went there on weekends.
I thought you were a cobbler.
Yes, I used to be cobbler, and I used to be sailor, and I used to be farmer. I'm not as young as I look.
So you've been a sailor?
No, not really. I was drafted into the Navy. That was a long time ago. I hope you like omelet.
I eat everything. My father had a restaurant too. Is this place yours?
Half share.
Did you like the Navy?
I like any job where I am boss. In the Navy, I was not the boss. It's the same thing when you are making omelet, the same thing when you make shoes.
If you don't want to talk to me, you don't have to pretend.
Oh, you are very sensitive. I used to be the same way when I was your age, long time ago. Then I learned that in order to make omelet,
you have to break the eggs.
That is the point. That is the last thing you want to do.
Do you think I'll be like you when I grow up?
People like me don't live long. I am the exception. I am the only exception I know of.
Tell me your story.
Well, it is not very new story. In fact, it is very old story. My father, he has a restaurant, and he died when he was very young. And I lived for 14 years with my mother. And I finally get fed up because I am stuck in the middle of nowhere. And our hotel, it overlooks the sea. The sea, it makes you dream.
Then what?
All right, come on, Jonathan. Let us eat. Jonathan, come on. It will get cold.
Thank you, Mr. Silver.
You want some wine?
No, thank you. I would like some port, please.
Port? Port with omelet? You tell me your father has a restaurant.
Tourists don't care, you know.
After lunch, I wanted my usual siesta, but I didn't even have to point this out. Mr. Silver seemed to know all about me.
Shoes?
Everything was ready.
Well, you should. When you get to be my age, the thing that is most important is that you dream about shoes.
I don't dream about shoes.
That is very, very bad sign. Up. Push. Push. You always laugh. Push. Silly.
Mr. Silver?
My son!
Mr. Silver? Is that you, Mr. Silver?
Come here. Come over here. I want to talk to you.
Out.
He doesn't know it yet, but that boy's my son.
Who's that man?
Don't you know him?
Do you?
He's a friend of my father's. A kind of friend.
I see. Well, I have found out all about you. Your mother is very, very worried about you. She wants to see you. So you can sleep here tonight. I will take you home first thing in the morning.
I'm not tired.
I am the only one here that will tell you whether you are tired or not. Come on.
Treasure Island. My father's bedtime book. That one book accounted for the entire contents of Mr. Silver's secret library.
Do you read a lot?
I want you to choose pajamas.
The next day, the adventure was over once again as far as I was concerned. Everything that was to come later would be just routine. I could have guessed as much by observing the expressions on the faces of the people I would meet over the next few days. Boredom and anger worthy of bank employees or widowed civil servants overseas. Yes, it was my father's funeral. The real thing. He had pulled it off. How many times had he pretended to die in the hope of getting a laugh out of me? How many times had he pretended to come back to life, merely to remove any last shreds of pleasure which I might find in existence? There he was, good and truly dead. And I should never be able to loathe him again. Now, I had no reason whatsoever to hate the world. I would have to think it over. Perhaps I could find other reasons for being unhappy. I must have fainted. When I woke up, I wasn't an orphan anymore.
Who are you?
Just a minute. I'm not ready yet.
Daddy?
Hang on.
Is he awake?
His temperature's gone down.
I'm scared, Mom. I thought Dad was dead.
That's true. He's no longer with us.
It's nothing to laugh about.
Oh, come on, Doctor, you're frightening him.
I say, old man, is it working?
No, not at all.
I knew it. I should have bet on it.
Making children laugh is not that easy.
Is that him, Mom?
See what I mean, Doctor? His memory's gone. Or maybe worse.
And what's more, he's scared of you. You've made a mess of this, Doctor. You must admit your methods are peculiar, fussy, and dangerous.
Forgive me, child. I was only trying to make you laugh. Foolishly, I thought the best cure against personal tragedy was laughter. After all, it's only a disease. I was wrong. You're too sentimental. We're going to have to resort to tactile methods.
Doctor, don't be disgusting. You're putting everybody off.
Where is everybody?
In the eyes of this child.
You're the worst poet England ever made.
My parents' fault. They were too stuffy.
Everybody says that.
Because it's true.
Who are you?
Well, he's a GP of sorts, and quite frankly, I'm the best bridge player of my generation. We're here on holiday. Your mother suggested we come to this hotel, and here we are.
You look exactly like my father.
See what I mean, Doctor? He's going mad. He's going mad.
This child needs a father, that's all it is.
You're wrong there, Dad. I have lots already.
He's going mad.
First, you need some sleep.
But that's all he does.
Hurry up, Doctor. I'll wait for you in the other room. I know I'm going to beat you now.
Don't insist. Chess requires a modicum of intelligence.
One day, you're going to get a nasty surprise. I'm not as stupid as I look.
I will kill you on that day.
The fake doctor and his fake millionaire friend had settled into the hotel. I could have guessed it. They had started to read Treasure Island out loud in a kind of two-man act. From now on, literary criticism would entertain us through the long winter evenings. The captain rarely got out of bed. He was delirious. He had crazy fits of laughter that lasted all through the night. He refused to see anyone other than me.
Captain.
Yes, he was reading Treasure Island too. He had annotated the margins. He had systematically evaluated the worth of every page, every chapter and swear word. I could have deduced from this that the book was not just another adventure story, but at the time, I was only interested in one thing. Treasure Island contained a certain Mr. Silver, whose lines echoed the very sentences uttered by Mr. Silver. I mean, my Mr. Silver, a few days before.
Doctor! Emergency!
This was only a demonstration, a performance to which I was an accomplice, the only purpose of which was to impress. They were only pretending. I knew it right away. They were simulating nervousness and indigestion, totally unconvincingly. And then, one winter Sunday afternoon, my aunt arrived.
You must be Johnny. I'm your aunt. My name is Helen.
Poor kid. He didn't even know you were coming.
Good. Come over here.
John, go and kiss your aunt.
No.
He's right.
Now she's gonna say I'm very nice, even if I run a little wild.
Johnny.
I can be a little wild too, but I'm very, very nice.
Johnny, give your aunt a kiss. Come on.
No.
Would you give the lady a kiss? Well, she's my sister.
With pleasure, madam.
Who on earth is that?
He's going to help me in the hotel. He'll be around for a little while. He's a very nice boy. At least he does what he's told.
So they had got somebody in to replace me at the hotel. There was more and more talk of my imminent departure, more and more discussion about the trip. But when was it to be? Where were we going? My aunt was the first to deem it necessary that I should be informed.
How long have you been here?
Oh, long before you.
You love spying on people, don't you?
I don't really have much to do. And you must admit, people are very secretive.
You and I are going to have to talk things over, Johnny. I hope you agree.
Delighted.
I've been watching you over the last few days, and I've got a few questions to ask.
Okay.
Okay, what's your real name?
That depends.
Meaning what?
Sometimes I'm called Johnny. Sometimes Jonathan. Sometimes even Jim.
And which is your favorite language?
None.
You must talk to people sometimes, don't you?
Not really.
Say that again?
Not really.
But when you go to school, Johnny?
I don't.
I see.
Helen?
What?
More questions? I love your questions.
Tomorrow.
I couldn't sleep at all that night. Just before daybreak, I was woken by a noise. It was a horrible scream. Then, shortly afterwards, I heard the captain laugh.
What are you doing here?
Hey, kid. Sorry. Sorry I did that to your cat. It was only a joke. Only a joke, only a joke.
I have never been able to understand the captain's absurdly cruel behavior, unless it was yet another example of his obsession with concealing everything he wanted one to know, while exposing all his most precious secrets.
La, 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 la.
In any case, that is how we first came to talk of those famous diamonds at home. I mean the famous fakes that were to lead us to real treasure.
What's that?
Those are the famous diamonds.
God, they're wonderful.
But they're fake.
Enough about the diamonds. I feel so happy today. Hey, let's play the little piece we used to play when we were kids.
That night, the captain asked to see me. He knew it was his turn to play.
Hey, kid, come here. You're smart. You understand things in a second, whereas two assholes, they don't understand anything in their whole lifetimes. You know, I used to prepare this speech very carefully. Anytime I thought I was dying, I used to say this speech, you see. But whenever I got to the crucial part, I'd forget it. So I never got to the end. Which is why I didn't die. That's why I'm still alive. But this time I don't think I have any choice. This time I think I'm gonna say the speech and get to the last goodbyes. Okay, here's the speech. As you can see, I'm going so you can take your detestable world. I'm going, but I'm going out singing. Singing. Hey, are you with me? You look distracted.
I'm with you.
Well, that's good. Now, this is important. You gotta promise me something. You owe me that. After all, I'm the guy who killed your old man. You know why I killed your father? Because ass lickers make me sick to my stomach. Speaking of ass lickers. Hey, Doc. Doc, how about a little jug here? Huh? Mish, una giraffa, per favor. Hey! Hey, I want you to sit still. I don't want you to move, and I don't want you to cry. Is that clear? The truth of it is I didn't kill your father. No. I didn't kill him. I should have. He deserved it. But I didn't. Funny thing about your old man, he always used to like to practice committing suicide. Sooner or later. It's better that way. Now don't cry.
I'm not crying. I'm laughing.
Laughing. That's better. What's making you laugh?
You. Because you're afraid of getting to the end of your speech.
Let's have a drink. Cheers.
Is that the end of your speech?
Almost. Now look, I want you to promise me something.
You already said that.
Yeah. See those books? I want you to promise me to read every one of them carefully. Carefully. Because on that is based the fate of Western civilization.
Doctor, I think the captain just died.
How do you know?
That makes 18 people I've seen die. It always happens the same way. The word comes out wrong, they give a shudder and...
How interesting. What word?
The Western world.
He is, however, still breathing. What was our friend reading? Mein Kampf?
It's a trifle out of date. Did you read it?
Cathars? The Universal Jew? Protocols of the Elders of Zion? Ah, Treasure Island? Treasure Island? Treasure Island.
stability. Now, it can be told. It's now or never.
What?
This whole thing's got a secret. You've got to know. You're my son.
I don't believe you. I don't believe in anybody.
That proves you're my son.
Sometimes, a great upheaval will rip the mask off truth. Everything becomes obvious, and as everyone knows, the obvious is absurd. The key to all these recent events had been in my hands all along. It was on television. The solution to these accumulating mysteries lay in a series that I'd been watching every week. Yes, all it required was a simple effort of the imagination. Stork was the captain. Wilbur the crab. Nadia must be my mother. Texas seemed to be the doctor. Timo the squire. And Pew, the defrocked priest who was killed by Bill, was the blind man. Joey, the thief with a heart of gold, was the rat. Evil old Abu Ali was none other than Silver. The pitiful inhabitants of the Ballantrae Hotel were none other than the heroes of my favorite series, those African mercenaries in search of treasure, whose adventures had gripped every family on this planet since the series had begun, had been our guests for some few weeks past. It all added up to one thing. The boy they were looking for, the one who had the real treasure chart, originally stolen by Wilbur, must be me. It was so self-evident I didn't think my hypothesis required any further examination. There was, however, a missing piece to this puzzle. There was no treasure chart in my possession. Worse, I didn't see why we couldn't just carry on without the treasure. It was an adventure anyway. The police came and took away my mother. I wasn't there to say goodbye, so I don't remember the last time I saw her. But I knew I would be going away. The doctor and Timo went off to Funchal for a few days. They returned one night, shortly after the last episode of my television series, bringing with them a new arrival.
Non, c'est pas vrai en plus, c'est impossible. C'est ridicule et c'est con. Voilà.
He doesn't agree.
How astonishing. I find the book quite charming, often very funny, and accurate from a military point of view. Personally, I'm delighted by the thought that a book like that might contain a secret.
The captain begs to differ.
Dites à votre ami que M. Stevenson ne connaît rien aux pratiques de navigation. Ce livre est truffé d'erreurs et d'inexactitudes.
The book appears to be full of errors.
That's what's so pleasing.
Vous voulez vraiment savoir où se trouve-t-il d'après les données du livre? Ben, pas loin de l'Écosse.
L'Écosse?
It's in front of Scotland.
Delightful.
Mais d'après les renseignements recueillis par le livre, c'est absolument impossible d'établir une carte.
There's no way of constituting a map.
Tell him we're convinced that even though the book is only the product of Stevenson's fertile imagination, others have subsequently used this information to hide real treasure.
I've already explained to him that the treasure post-dates the book. I think that he's pretending not to believe me.
Does he know that even Stevenson, towards the end of his life, used the book as a premise to hide his famous collection of ancient coins?
He doesn't give a damn.
But it's a well-known fact. You can read about it in the newspapers. Several modern pirates have used the book to draw out their own treasure maps. Furthermore, one can't help suspecting that there must be a mega treasure map somewhere, containing the definitive coordinates of the world's 365 still hidden treasures.
Qu'est-ce qu'il a dit?
Il dit qu'il y a plusieurs trésors.
Ah bon? Où?
Recherchons celui-là d'abord.
Je le trouve passionnant, votre truc. J'y crois pas. Et c'est tout.
A week later, we were all ready for the trip. My aunt vanished without a trace, which I found very reassuring, because she was the only one without a counterpart on television. 3 days before leaving, we took possession of our ship, a ferry boat formerly used on the run from Ponta Delgada to Fayal, which Timo had chosen for the extreme cleanliness of its toilets. I was not surprised to see Silver and his men embark, nor did I consider it necessary to inform the grown-ups of 2 or 3 disquieting conversations which I overheard.
You know what I mean.
Keep the gold.
While the ship's watch was having dinner, I observed the loading of some very suspicious-looking crates without really having to conceal myself.
Hey! Mais qu'est-ce que tu fais là?
Then,
Allez!
the day before we were
Descends.
due to sail, I discovered that I was not alone in following Silver and his men's maneuvering. That day, the French captain invited us to lunch in a restaurant not far from Silver's. He didn't say anything during the meal.
Je vous avoue que j'ai jamais bien aimé cette idée de voyage. D'abord, j'aime pas qu'on m'impose un équipage que je ne connais pas. Deuxièmement, j'aime pas les bateaux de contenance. Troisièmement, j'aime pas ce bateau du tout. Quatrièmement, j'aime pas du tout que la plupart des cabines soient fermées à clé et ne pas avoir la clé. Cinquièmement, je trouve inexplicable que la plupart de l'équipage ne parle pas un mot de français. Sixièmement, je trouve inacceptable que la plupart des matelots aient le mal de mer avant d'avoir appareillé. Septièmement, j'aimerais bien qu'on m'explique la raison pour laquelle 30 tonnes supplémentaires de matériel ont été chargées la dernière minute. Huitièmement, je hais les emballages mal faits. Et les vôtres sont dégueulasses. D'ailleurs, il y a des caisses qui sont tombées.
Really? Which ones?
Bon, je vous en prie, laissez-moi terminer.
Sorry, go ahead.
Neuvièmement, pourquoi toutes ces armes?
Weapons?
J'ai bien dit armes.
I happen to be fond of shooting.
Au bazooka?
I see your point.
Non, vous voyez rien, c'est moi qui vois.
Well,
He isn't happy.
he's not a very nice man.
Alors réfléchissez, quant à moi j'ai pris une décision, je démissionne.
He's resigning.
Vous me tripez la paye, ou j'arrête tout.
He wants more money. Too risky.
In that case, we'll have to see to this business about the cabin. According to my information, my cabin's on the sunny side of the ship.
Don't worry, this will be the first thing we'll see to. Just let me think things over.
Alors ça y est, c'est d'accord?
Everything is settled.
Eh bien messieurs, je m'en réjouis.
The next day, we left at 6 in the morning. I will spare you the details of the journey. Suffice it to say that Silver won the crew over to his side by his incessant omelets, which were always the same, yet somehow always different. They counteracted the bad impression made by the bitter melancholy of his men, characteristic of people who have never been able to get over seasickness. During the first few weeks, Timo kept up a correspondence with my aunt and handed round the letters for everyone to read, thus earning the crew's utter contempt. I was not to understand the full import of this exchange until some time later, though the others saw nothing more in it than Timo's typical knack for hastily combining work and play.
I think I owe you some kind of explanation for what you just saw. You must have been extremely shocked. Let's sit down for a moment.
I don't need an explanation.
You most certainly do. I did what I just did, not only for sentimental reasons, which wouldn't be right at all, but also for reasons which you might one day call logistical. The good old pigeon technique, which may seem out of date to you, can come in very useful in old-fashioned situations.
I was, however, not the only one to have noticed the implicit danger in his behavior. Silver was worried. He was watching me. Every night he would come into my cabin and on the most implausible pretexts try to get me to betray what my friends were planning.
But the water in my basin is not working. Can I use yours for a minute?
Yes, okay, go ahead.
Thank you. So, are you enjoying the trip?
Yes.
Good.
You're not enjoying it, are you?
If you were in my shoes, you wouldn't enjoy it either.
What are you trying to tell me?
I'm trying to tell you to slow down.
When I get to be your age, I'll slow down? Is that so?
People like you will never get to be my age.
You really hate me?
No. I just come here to use your water.
What's for dinner?
I will see you later.
I hope you're not angry, Captain.
Don't you ever call me Captain again.
From now on, things began to happen thick and fast. The next day, I overheard a peculiar conversation between Silver and some of the sailors.
Duty is duty, my friends. I give my vote. I vote they die. Our colleagues in the cabin are worse than a pack of lawyers. I do not want them coming home to tell tales no one wants to hear. Wait, I say wait for the time being. But when the time comes, every one of them must die. There is only one thing I want. I want the squire. I will twist his pretty cap head off his body with my own fair hands. Till then, you must keep your heads down.
There was no doubt about it. Silver was going to act. Fast. I felt obliged to warn the captain.
Alors maintenant, on va dire 50% de plus pour les actions pendant la journée et 100% pendant la nuit. On est bien d'accord?
Sounds an awful lot to me.
Hey, here they are. Moi aussi, je suis là et j'attends une réponse.
The answer is yes, of course.
Capitaine, on aimerait vous dire un mot.
Finalement, quelqu'un qui parle français. D'où venez-vous, jeune homme?
On vous attend dehors, capitaine. On voudrait vous dire un mot.
Ah, je déteste les Parisiens.
Moi, j'aime pas trop les capitaines.
Il faut que je négocie avec eux. Et soyez prêts pour ce soir, d'accord?
The mercenaries had seized the engine room and the forecastle, but they were worried the captain might have a plan up his sleeve.
He accepted, right away. He didn't look shocked. I would even say he was very interested.
Alors comme ça, on se fait une petite mutinerie.
It is not a mutiny. You are the captain. You are the only captain. The only thing that we want is a little respect for the workers.
Ce n'est quand même pas pour ça que vous m'avez fait venir.
Well, we have not even discussed the treasure.
Ah, je vois. Tout le monde est au courant.
It was in the newspaper.
Et qu'est-ce qu'ils disaient, les journaux?
Well, it did not say that much, but it did say there were 4 expeditions of these marvelous mercenaries looking for treasure.
Vous savez, de notre côté, on a entendu pas mal de choses aussi. Donc je crois qu'on peut se parler franchement. Comme vous, je trouve que ces messieurs ne sont pas très nets. Ils me cachent des choses. Sans aller plus loin, j'ai appris seulement hier que l'île en question n'est pas celle qu'on m'a indiquée au départ. Alors quant à l'argent, n'en parlons pas. Ils me doivent 2 mois de paye. Mais la seule chose que je vous demande, c'est d'agir dans le cadre de la loi. Alors demain midi, vous allez prendre la parole à l'heure du déjeuner. Mais je ne vous empêcherai pas de faire rentrer vos hommes et déplacer au point stratégique.
Captain, I'm so sorry about the onions.
Non. C'est pas les oignons qui me font pleurer. Ces 3 messieurs sont les seuls sur lesquels on puisse compter dans tout le bateau.
The only 3 professionals?
Silver a plus ou moins essayé de contacter tout le monde. C'est un homme assez exceptionnel à ce qu'on dit. Mais voyez, moi, je me méfie de Levantin.
You're mad, Captain.
Fou, mais pas con.
An hour later, we took advantage of the mercenaries' heavy slumber brought about by their somewhat immoderate consumption of alcohol and succeeded in abandoning ship.
Technical books. Typewriter. Chocolates and instruments. Beat!
For 2 whole days, we tried in vain to make contact with the outside world. Then, towards the end of the 2nd day, we caught sight of our own ship bearing down on us. It was going round and round in circles as if there was no one at the helm. As it approached, we could see our enemies were still celebrating their victory. Perhaps we owed our lives to the slightly chaotic atmosphere that reigned on board. At first, they tried firing at the lifeboat. Then they started quarreling among themselves.
John! We want your life! You understand? We were captured!
We heard a horrid explosion and the screams of wounded men. Then the ship veered away, zigzagging over the horizon. Within an hour, it was gone. We had lost the 3 sailors who had remained loyal. After a short ceremony, the captain ordered us to throw them overboard. 5 days later, we sighted a schooner coming towards us.
I'm very pleased to meet a Frenchman. They have told me they are very civilized.
Ah, mais sur ce point, je ne suis pas un produit typique. Je ne lis presque jamais.
It's a shame. Not even books by seamen. You know they have produced some great novels.
Mais je n'ai pas le temps parce que depuis que je suis marié, je ne pense qu'à mes dettes.
You mean to tell me that you never heard of Benito Sereno by Herman Melville?
Non, je ne connais pas.
You missed something of real great importance.
Ah, à propos de choses importantes, d'abord je me présente, n'est-ce pas? Capitaine!
I know everything there is to know about you and I'm already a great admirer of yours. Great!
Alors là, je ne vous comprends pas du tout, vraiment.
Well, that's because you're not interested in books. Huh? I am a literary man myself. Literature is the only thing I'm interested in. I read every book I can put my hands on, especially those about sea. Like Benito Sereno. Believe me, it's a prophetic masterpiece.
What are they talking about?
Money.
Really?
Oh, I can hardly see the captain discussing literature.
What the devil's she doing here?
Well, maybe she likes treasure after all.
Oh, she might have told me. Helen! Helen!
I heard your story about 10 times already.
10 times?
Helen, it's me!
These men did it very well.
Alors là, vous me devez une explication.
As you can see, these men are prisoners. They abandoned your ship shortly after you deserted it. An act which, if I might say so, I find slightly careless on your part.
Mon cher collègue, j'ai eu mes raisons.
Obviously. So did Benito Sereno.
Hello, Captain. I hope you had a nice trip.
Cet homme a organisé une mutinerie en plein XXe siècle. Et il a tué 3 matelots. Alors j'exige qu'on le ramène au premier port et qu'il soit remis entre les mains des autorités compétentes.
As you wish, Captain. As you wish.
Avant que j'oublie, félicitations, capitaine. Vous êtes un homme très courageux.
So are you, so are you. Too bad you're not Red or Red.
D'accord, d'accord. Si tu arrives au premier port, je me promets de me procurer ce fameux... Comment dites-vous déjà?
Benito Sereno is a very wise, imaginative, great book. You cannot make a bad omelet if the quality is very high.
Did you know that a couple of days ago Silver found some eggs laid by a black hen fed on manioc flavored with coriander?
Almost a hen with golden eggs.
I find your conversation enchantingly witty, Mr. Moretti. I'm sure you love poetry.
He's fanatical. He writes love sonnets.
Sonnets? I'd love to hear you read me one of your poems.
Literature! Oh, I'm sure you all know that great masterpiece work done by...
All right, who wants more omelets?
Oh, yes.
What was the book you were talking about?
I don't remember. Well, I have a great memory. I forget everything. Do you know, what's the name of that liqueur that they make in France? Oh, no, and those medieval buildings that they have up there. Well, what's the name of these, the word for these people who make a living, a business out of living, but then dying and going on forever? And that thing that the Pope does, and that gesture that we all do, what's the name of it?
Benediction?
Benediction. And the drink?
Benedictine?
Benedictine. And the man who founded the Benedictines?
Saint Benedict.
San Benedict. And in Spanish?
San Benito.
Now you take away the saint?
Ah, voilà. Benito Sereno, c'est ça?
Ah, école, porca. Gracias, Dios, gracias.
Il paraît que c'est un très beau roman.
It's about a captain who joins a ship, a slave ship, after there's been a rebellion.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I think I remember the thing. Everybody in the rebellion wears a mask. And the jailers pretend they're prisoners, and the prisoners pretend they're jailers. Oh, maybe it's the other way around.
Très intéressant.
Much too interesting.
All right, the party is over. I will be very grateful if you all eat your food and come down into the hold. Thank you.
Tell me, do you still love me?
You're a child. I love children.
I promise you, I'm going to get you out of here. And I'm going to find you a treasure trove. One of your very own.
The rest of us are not bound by your promises.
After deduction of all expenses.
Et les salaires payés.
Go on, quickly.
Get out of here, quick. What are you waiting for?
We remained in the schooner for 3 whole days, 3 long days and nights. With their dull moments, their moments of uncertainty, we could think of nothing but the heat. Treasure Island was like a magnet. We could speak of nothing else, of nothing but Treasure Island and its diamonds.
Women and children can go if they wish. Captain Silva would like the rest of you to have a drink in here.
Pas pour moi.
That's good, because the captain wanted everybody to have a drink except you.
Ben, tant mieux, tant mieux.
I suppose the lady can choose her own escort.
It won't be you.
What a sense of humor, man.
Johnny will escort me.
The child needs an escort, too.
That's enough!
He's right. That's not what we're here for.
That's where you're wrong. A love story is exactly what we do need.
Let me out! Let me out! Let me out!
I must admit that your friend is very brave.
He isn't brave. He's a gambler.
But he's risking his life.
That doesn't mean he isn't having fun.
Do you think he's having fun at the moment?
In his own way.
What about you?
Me? I'm just looking for a treasure. Like your friends.
So you're gambling too?
Maybe. But the rules are different.
Gentlemen, I know you're seafaring men, fighting men too. Listen to me.
He's mad! Leave him alone! He can't hurt a fly!
Let's play explanations.
You're very clever. But I'm not a clever person. Do you know why? Because I have a sense of morality.
That's a game too.
It's the opposite of a game. It means being beyond games.
Let me out!
Please,
Let me out!
Please, shut up.
Who are you?
There was a time when that would have been a good question. Now, there's no answer.
Because of morality.
You're very, very bright.
No, I'm not. I'm just playing fair.
It's much the same with them, you know.
Do they have morality?
No, that's the problem. With them, it's the exact opposite. Because they're playing a game. None of this matters to them. Neither money nor danger. That's why they're 10 times more dangerous. And 10 times nastier. I hope I'll manage to kill them all.
Of course, it was inevitable. The day of reckoning arrived 1 week before it should have done. One fine morning, there we were. It was Treasure Island, all right, full of fog and the arrogant babbling of manic parrots condemned more than 10 years ago to a life of perpetual militant chants.
They're going. It's
Yes, one or two of them. The others have gone.
We left one man to guard a whole lot of us. But he's got a gun.
Right. Well, I think it's Johnny's turn to play.
What? You couldn't expect that chump to risk his life for us.
In theory, that's what he's there for.
Good thinking. These men are soft. They wouldn't dare to kill a child.
How do you know? They already tried it once, but it doesn't matter. I'll go out there.
Remember, don't be caught up in a game. Keep your distance. Be moral.
I believe you, but I haven't understood a word.
Don't move, boy. I saw you. I heard everything your friend said.
Oh, so you don't want to talk to me?
Not today.
Why are you following me everywhere if you...
You know why? Sure you do.
Oh, it's because I'm your son. That's what you said.
Don't pay any attention to what I say.
Whatever you say. It would have been nice to know a little bit more about my father.
You don't really believe I'm your father?
Oh, yes, I believe you.
You do?
In any case, I know that bastard who hung himself inside my house couldn't have been my real father.
That's great. That really is funny, you know.
Are these diamonds real?
You like diamonds?
That depends. When they're mine, I'll like them.
These? You'll have to kill me first before getting your hands on these.
But I heard there were tons of them on this island.
That's what they say. I'm not too hopeful myself.
You don't believe in this treasure, do you?
Maybe. I know I won't get any of it.
How do you know?
It is written. Get back into your cabin now. That's enough. Right away.
Do you know what I think? I see a touching scene in which a father meets his son. The father is very pleased to meet his son. He goes up to him and he kisses him. Then tears run down the father's cheeks. The son is smiling. It's a scene which makes me cry. Well done. You're not gonna kill him?
Huh? Out of the question, young man. You can't kill in front of a child. Quick, there's no one on the beach.
Three hours later, we landed at Skeleton Beach. None of the mercenaries was waiting for us, which was just as well. They must have scattered all over the island. 3 hours' march brought us to the stockade mentioned on the map. The place stank of fog and sulfur and vinegar. In the distance, we could hear the mercenaries singing colonial anthems as if they were fighting for Europe. They decided to attack after lunch.
Doctor! Come here! Doctor!
Doctor, here they are, I'm afraid.
Doctor, quick!
Ah, shit.
Let's go!
It was a funny sort of battle. Their aim was haywire. They set the whole place ablaze with shouting and fire. Not a single bullet reached its appointed destination. Obviously, the battle was faked. The dead and the wounded were merely a small price to pay for a little verisimilitude. Even a make-believe battle is no good if no one believes in it. In the end, there were only 3 casualties in the mercenary team, but we took a prisoner too. On our side, there were no casualties at all. The whole thing was farcical.
Déjamelo a mí. Estos me los conozco de memoria.
Qu'est-ce que vous êtes en train de faire?
A little time.
Bien. On est tous très pressés. Il faut absolument que tu nous dises la vérité. Autrement, on sera obligé d'employer les grands moyens. On est bien d'accord?
When I was a small boy, they taught me, and I had to answer my superiors. You'll tell you that.
Où est le campement?
He says it's an I.
Encore.
Allow me, Captain. I think you are using the wrong approach.
Ah, je le crains aussi.
Yes, I don't think you should ask any direct questions, because you're going to get the answers you're looking for. If you're asking less precise things, more abstract things, maybe you're going to get some further information that could be more enlightening to you.
Intéressant. Montrez-moi.
Listen. Qué bonito día hace, ¿verdad? What is your favorite song? Tell me, what is your favorite song, you son of a bitch? Tell me, what is your favorite song? Which is the best football team in Germany? Tell me in Germany! Which is the best football team in Germany, you fucker!
Permettez-moi, chers collègues, ce ne sont pas des questions d'ordre général. Au contraire, elles sont d'ordre particulier.
I think I know what Mr. Mendoza means. He believes that treating the body through the application of pain can drive an individual to the concealment of information. The person concerned may not be aware that this information is of vital importance to him.
A ver, dime, ¿cómo se llama mi abuela Matarda? ¡Matarda! ¡Dime, hijo de puta, cómo se llama mi abuela Matarda! ¿Por qué se dice que los gatos tienen 7 vidas? 7 vidas. Causas lejanas de las guerras románticas. ¡Cabrón! Did you see Helen's eyes when I was hitting this guy? She never stopped smiling.
Her nerves are bad. She's scared of us.
Do you think he'd rather be on the bad guy's side? Oh, shut up!
But Mendoza, you've killed him.
Yes, I know. En nombre del Padre, del Hijo, del Espíritu Santo. Amén. Estate en paz. I can't stand the sight of a wounded man.
Well, that's a crime.
No, it's an act of war. What could we have done with him? Fed him, tell him things? He would have turned against us. Now it's all over for him. He's a happy man.
He's in hell, more like.
Oh, you don't believe in those things, do you? I don't. I believe that when men die, they all go to heaven.
Even the worst ones?
Even the worst ones. Heaven is for all of us. From that point of view, I'm a socialist.
And then, Silver intervened.
What do you want? Oh! I am Captain Silver!
There's no captain by that name.
No, I am the captain! My name is Silver. They made me captain after you deserved them! Please, don't fire!
Pas de négociation!
Oh, well, you can just do as you wish because we can attack you. You have no chance.
Alors pourquoi vouloir négocier?
Well, we could tell you, but I'm afraid you wouldn't understand. Want you to know, we have no arms.
No arms?
Alors bien.
We just come to talk.
Captain.
Normal conversation.
Sit down, please. Sit down. Don't move.
Here?
Yes, here.
It is cold.
Si vous avez quelque chose à le dire, le plus vite sera le mieux.
Well, all right. I am a simple man. Hello, Jim. Doctor.
Hello, Jim.
Je vous en prie, épargnez-nous avec vos formules de courtoisie. D'ailleurs, je trouve très cavalier de votre part d'être venu ici, après tout ce qui est arrivé. Don't move, please.
Well, it was inevitable. That was the way it was written.
Je ne crois ni dans les Écritures, ni dans le destin. Et tout ce que je vois, c'est une bande de brigands qui se disputent avec une bande de fous. Et qu'est-ce que vous voulez que je fasse?
Choose your thieves.
Et pour quoi faire?
It could mean $2 million for you.
Vous voulez que je vous croie?
I think you know what we are talking about.
Et vous voulez quoi en échange?
I want Tim Moretti, the Mexican, and Jim Hawkins.
Oh, et Jim Hawkins.
He is the boy.
Ah, désolé, je ne peux pas. Et Timo non plus d'ailleurs. Il est con, d'accord, mais enfin il est émouvant. Et puis, en plus, il me doit de l'argent.
I think you know that we hold all the cards.
Bon, d'accord. Je vous donne le Mexicain.
And the child. And Mr. Timo.
La fille et le Mexicain.
We must have the child.
Bon, alors d'accord. Je vous donne la fille, Timo. Le Mexicain et le docteur.
We want the child.
Désolé, ça je ne peux pas. Peut-être avant j'aurais accepté, mais maintenant que je suis marié et que j'ai 2 enfants, ça je ne peux pas. Non, je ne peux pas.
Bye-bye. The attack started just before midnight. Mendoza was grazed in the left leg as soon as the shooting began. It didn't stop him fighting to the bitter end. For my part, I gathered that I wasn't likely to come to any harm since the whole thing was fake. At one point, I had an irresistible urge to cross the ditch and inspect the equivocal no-man's land between the two camps, but someone had thought of it before me. Despite the distance that separated us, I recognized him immediately.
I don't need any explanations.
There is no reason why I should give you any. Everybody knows I always lie. It's my hobby.
I like you more now I know everything about you.
Well, you're wrong.
No, I'm not.
Really? I must write that down.
You're crazy.
Up yours.
What? I see. You just want to kill me.
Congratulations. You deserve the truth because you got it in one. You've understood I am only interested in things I like. I don't like money or glory or the pleasures of this world. I only like scaring children! Scaring children! Nothing else. It's the only thing I think about.
I feel sorry for you, my friend. I'm not a child anymore.
One day you'll become one, I am sure.
Never again, I swear.
In that case, there is nothing left for me to do here.
Think about the treasure. Forget everything else.
Right. Farewell.
Farewell. This is the last time I'll ever have a conversation with you.
Are you trying to scare me? That's all you think about, isn't it? After this, the last battle, I lost sight of Jonathan Coutinho, alias Johnny, and better known to readers as Jim Hawkins. Until now, I have insisted on telling the story from his point of view, because I have been an eyewitness to every element of his tale. But now, I must relinquish that role and call on a wide range of often contradictory accounts to narrate the last days of Jim's adventures on Treasure Island and bring his story to its conclusion. The next day, he was to be seen leaving the stockade and heading for the southern part of the island. He crossed the abandoned paddy fields. At midday, he about turned and made for Ben Gunn's woods.
Was it you who made all this goddamn noise last night? Don't you know that animals need peace as well as people? You and your friends stop all this goddamn bang-bang noise.
Filthy weather. As soon as he had escaped from Ben Gunn and from Crab, Jim made for Skeleton Beach. The sight of Crab in a tropical suit, and the sound of mercenaries laughing as they spied on him from the neighboring hills, must have made him question the basis of his enterprise. But, on the other hand, perhaps the very absurdity of his situation gave it the kind of credibility which had so obviously been lacking in most of its recent developments. The fact is that he had decided to take control of the iguana come what may, and that he alone was responsible for this decision.
Are you badly hurt?
That bloody doctor of yours was aboard. I would be as right as rain in no time. But I've never been lucky, see? It was always my problem in life. What about the fucking idiot over there? He's dead, isn't he?
Mr. Hands, I come aboard to take possession of the ship. Please regard me as your captain until further orders.
Oh, Captain. Yeah, why not? What about a little chat? Both of us.
Certainly, Mr. Hands.
So listen, this is my offer. You go find me something to eat and drink, and an old scarf or a handkerchief for my wound, while I tell you how to handle this ship.
Here are my plans, Mr. Hands. I want to take the schooner over the wrecks, away from Mr. Silver's camp.
Oh, I see. That's what I thought. Oh, Captain. I was wondering whether you wouldn't mind throwing my mate overboard. I'm not too squeamish, you know. And I don't feel bad about giving him his due, but he's not very pretty. What do you think?
That isn't really my strong point, and I don't like that kind of work at all. So, as far as I'm concerned, it can stay there. I don't care.
The iguana. The bloody boat is jinxed. Captain, I need help. Go ahead. Come on. See that bastard over there? He's there and he isn't there. He probably will never be there again.
Perhaps you can destroy a soul. Certainly not the body.
What does that mean?
The body is in you already. You could smell him, can't you? You can see him. You remember him. He's unforgettable.
That's enough to make a camel thirsty.
Do you want more brandy?
Oh, no. I'd prefer some wine.
All right, Mr. Hands. I'll get you some port. But it'll need time to find it.
Okay, son.
Israel Hands had been fatally wounded. And though he took a few hours to die, and though his screams echoed around the island late into the night, no one could now deny that everything had taken place exactly as it was written. Everyone watched the iguana around the island with mixed feelings of joy and despair. Then she headed off south with her cargo of corpses and half-empty bottles. As for Jim, he had abandoned the schooner shortly after the fall of Israel Hands. He returned to the stockade very late that same night. His friends had completely vanished while he was away, which didn't really surprise him. He thought that he had got the whole business straight.
Jonathan, you are back with us. That is just what I expected.
Really? Are you pleased?
Pleased? I'm more than pleased. The word is delighted.
I guess you want to know how far we got.
Briefly, the answer is yes.
Listen, I'll be brief too. I know you and you know me quite well. We could do it without formalities.
Your words, they're like a symphony to my ears.
Captain, I'm not stupid enough not to know what will happen to me. I don't care how bad it is. I've seen too many people die since I've met you, and I've got a couple of things to say.
Listen, boys. The child has something to say. Very nice.
You've lost some men, and you lost the schooner. And whose fault was that?
I don't know. Whose fault is that?
Jim Hawkins.
All right, cut out the crap and tell me what kind of a game you're playing.
I never play games.
Like I said, he has no idea.
You mean to tell me that there is still such a thing as an innocent child?
Why not? People read less and less these days.
You mean to tell me that this boy has not read one single page from the book?
Tell me, boy, do you know Treasure Island?
I know you're hunting for a treasure. I know the money isn't yours. And I know I'm the one who will stop you.
Congratulations, Professor.
All right. Do me a favor, Crab. Will you please tell this boy the meaning of our business? I mean the real meaning.
Listen, child. Everything we've done is governed by two factors. A book and a game. The book is Treasure Island. The game of the same name was invented by this gentleman, who is Professor Omar Amirali, director of the Department of Polemology at the University of Ghent.
It must be said that my distinguished colleague here, Peter van Wright, is the leading expert on limited game theory. He is also the father of the paradox of incomplete penalties.
That doesn't stop you from being crooks.
You listen to me, boy. Many people think that the world is at war. Well, that is not true. That has never been true. The truth is that the world is playing a game, a big global game. Oh, the world, it has rules, but those rules are a secret. So it follows whoever finds that secret can control the world and find ultimate happiness.
That might well have been so, but sadly, the incompleteness theorem will prevent you from ruling the world.
Wrong!
Okay, nobody move.
Blind passion will not silence my truth.
That's odd coming from you, Silver. You never talked about using violence to impose game theory on your colleagues.
You are a tautologist!
You're a solipsist!
You are worse than a Dutch neo-intuitionist!
You're number 6!
You're a pirate and a crook!
Good shot, Madame Lafontaine.
You're a worse traitor than Professor Van Wright. You defected to the West.
I'm not playing anymore. I'm not playing anymore!
Jonathan! Come back! We need you!
Johnny! It isn't a game! We really hate each other! Come back!
Get back here! Come back!
Jonathan!
He wandered through the forest for hours, reaching Ben Gunn's encampment just before sunrise.
That's my secret. They say every man is a mirror. I say every man is a diamond, reflecting in many facets. He's hard, impenetrable, rare, and expensive.
I don't think anybody thinks of me as a diamond.
They are wrong. You are a diamond. I know about diamonds. I live with them, day and night. I got one here.
Is it a real one?
Of course it's a real one. I've been here since 1967. I've seen lots of people come to this island to hide treasure. And every time they leave empty-handed.
You could be a rich man.
I am a rich man. I own all this treasure. It's mine. I take it, I scatter it, I find new hiding places for it. I do it for fun.
But has it never occurred to you to take advantage of all this?
Sometimes. I think that I would like to buy something that only money could buy.
Like what?
Dijon mustard.
Well, all you have to do is to sell a diamond. You could buy several tons of Dijon mustard for that.
I tried. It didn't work. I had to find another island.
But surely you must be able to do something with all this immense treasure of yours.
I can. I use my diamonds to shoot birds.
Now that really is funny.
I don't do it for kicks. I do it because it works. If I were to use ordinary stones, it wouldn't matter if I missed. But with diamonds, I'm very careful. Because I know that every shot costs a small fortune. So I very rarely miss my game.
At last, he could get some sleep. But not for long. Good guys and bad guys, everyone was furious that the adventure had failed in its primary aim. And so, everything began to fall apart.
Look what you did, you crazy, crazy, crazy man! Look! Can't you see? You take your sling and you take your little diamonds, you play games! What's the matter with you? He was the best Jim Hawkins I ever see! He was the most kind, the most sensitive, the bravest. Now he is dead.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to kill him. But after all these years, I've become almost incapable of missing a shot. And diamonds, they don't forgive.
I do my best performance as Silver opposite him.
Was he me?
He was much better than you. He was much quicker. He killed Israel hands with remarkable skill. This man should not have died. This man should never have died.
But he wanted to die, Silver. You said so yourself.
He wanted to play Israel hands. He would have been a brilliant Israel hands, but no, the club says no. It was not written. It was not written. It was not written. Get me chair.
Johnny, bring a chair. I think there's a chair over there. Death is like a diamond. It's hard, expensive, impenetrable, and it makes millionaires.
That's why a diamond always makes you want to laugh. At last, I've made you laugh.
Yes, you made me laugh.
Who is this lady?
This is the woman I love.
Was she the one who killed John Silver? Congratulations. Marvelous shot.
She had no choice, did you, Helen?
I'm terribly sorry, but he was about to disclose a secret. He had no right to do so in front of this gentleman.
You can tell me all the secrets in the world. I forget them right away, like just another treasure.
One never knows.
That's true. Memory is like a diamond. It always reminds you of your mother or your favorite film, and in the end, everything becomes unforgettable.
I'm getting rather to like you, Ben Gunn. I think you're my favorite philosopher. Would you like to marry us?
I'd be delighted. It'll help me forget that I'm a bachelor.
Not for long.
What do you mean?
Don't you see? He'd make an ideal husband for your sister. She'd love to have him as soon as she gets out of prison. I say, Johnny, what do you think about having this man for your father?
At this point, I don't think one father more or less makes much difference.
And what about you, Helen? Will you take me for your husband?
This game has been a failure. I'd like to play Treasure Island again. Once more. I have to prove it isn't just for men. After that, I'll marry you.
I warn you, being married to a creep won't be easy.
Come on, Johnny. Let's leave these people alone. Let's take a walk. Well, the story's over again. It's always sad when it ends with Silver's death. That only happens very rarely. You're a very lucky young man.
Yes, the tale was indeed reaching a climax. The race for Treasure Island had taken place once again, as it had every year for almost 30 years. In a few hours' time, the results would be announced and the winners declared. The losers, too, for that matter. And the participants were all convinced they'd failed before they'd even really started playing. Now, the rescue service would have to bring in the helicopters. That was a very bad sign. It meant the treasure hunt had been interrupted. It meant that the future of this, the most popular and most secret of all our sporting events, must lie in the balance.
I feel funny finishing like that. What am I going to do now?
The same as the rest of us. Wait until you're grown up. And then...
Then what?
Then you start playing again.
Were you? Did all of you? The same as me?
Almost all of us.
You as well?
I'd rather not talk about that. I messed it all up, even killing Hans. Well, look, here's the dawn.
It's beautiful. I think I like this way of living.
So do you think you're going to be playing with us again?
When I grow up, I'll play with you again.
And which part are you going to go for? If that's not an indiscreet question.
Guess.
I see.
Do you?
Congratulations. I'm sure you're going to make an excellent Captain Silver.
You're right, Ben Gunn. See you soon.
See you.
Jim Hawkins was spotted running down to the beach. He ran to and fro for hours. Some people claimed he was crying. Others said he couldn't stop laughing. I have never played the part of Jim Hawkins. It is my sad duty in these events to analyze what each new Jim Hawkins is feeling as he participates in the cyclical adventures of Treasure Island. For this reason, I am probably the only person to know what Jonathan felt that day, the last day of his life. You might say it was sadness, or a kind of dizziness, perhaps panic, or depression. But actually, the main thing he felt was sheer contempt. Contempt for the whole business, for everyone involved, and above all, contempt for Treasure Island itself. He would never have made a good John Silver, nor even a decent Israel Hands. There was only one part he would have been any good at, and that was mine. That's why I was lying in wait for him at the other end of the beach. The official version is that nobody ever saw Jim Hawkins again. Whatever you do, don't try and make some kind of hero out of him. You won't find the corpse. From now on, I am the only Jim Hawkins.
Men on the dead man's chest.
Yo-ho-ho, and another of rum.
Drink and the devil had done for the rest.
Yo-ho-ho, and another of rum.
With one man of the fool alive.
Yo-ho-ho, and another of rum.
What fell to see with 75.
Yo-ho-ho, and another of rum.
Carnason sur la
mare le divan. Yo-ho-ho, une bouteille de rhum.
L'homme et malin, ce sont
le mauvais, le malin. Yo-ho-ho, une bouteille de rhum. Y'en avait qu'un rissin à ce qu'ils aient vécu. Yo-ho-ho, une bouteille de rhum.
Des 75